Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to another exciting episode of This Week in Real Estate. So I appreciate you taking a look at this video, and we're just going to take a quick look back into the last week of some business things and kind of keep you up to date on what's going on here in the real estate market. So I am, if you can't tell, I am home today, and so if a kid rushes in or I'm actually hearing them screaming outside, they're playing in the snow, I apologize, we'll just get through that. So last week was filled with some online meetings, so it was my monthly kind of mastermind series meeting, Zoom. You know, Zoom is still all the rage, so we had that, and it was a good meeting talking about serving our clients as best we can and different practices and things like that. So obviously very good information. The week was also filled with some showings, and I believe it was Wednesday, was out most of the afternoon showing some homes, and then made my way back up to Wabash to show some homes up there. And we ended up writing an offer on one of the homes, but even the buyer understood the asking price of this particular home was rather high for the neighborhood, and it had been on the market for some time, and so that basically states the home's probably overpriced. And so we submitted what I would consider a reasonable offer, but we didn't get a response back. So that that particular seller is sticking to their guns as far as the asking price and not really willing to budge any. And so that was his choice, and the buyer's opinion is that they weren't going to overpay for a home. So that one didn't quite work out, and we're still on the search up there for that. Did some kind of drive-bys this week, so I had a couple conversations with some people, just kind of starting the process or asking about listing their home, or one was a family member's home. So they started that process, and then I would drive by just to kind of take a look at how it sits, where it sits, things like that. Haven't been in those homes yet. That would be the next step to provide them with detailed pricing and marketing information. But did a couple drive-bys, and then I was actually in a home yesterday before, well, it actually just had started snowing, but was in that home, and that was the more detailed version of that. So was able to go over comparable sales and marketing and things like that with that seller. So his timeline's a little pushed out, so even if he makes a decision to go ahead and list the property, it's going to be a few months. But he's just trying to gather that information and decide what to do from here. So wrote another offer, and this one was for sale by owner, and today is Tuesday, and we haven't heard back from that. So technically we wanted to hear back by Sunday. That didn't happen, and so we're still waiting, and hopefully hear back soon. We did basically offer what they wanted, so just taking a little extra time for whatever reason to hear back on that. So thinking good thoughts on that one. Hopefully hear back soon. Had a listing, and this was a kind of a carryover listing from I think a week or two ago, where I couldn't find the keys. They had a contractor box, key box on the door, and then I went to go do the final prep on the listing, and then it was gone. So had to track down the keys. I was able to do that late last week, and finally got over there and listed a duplex off of Shipley in Muncie. So that one's up and going, and hopefully getting some people to view that one as an investment type property. So one unit has been renovated, and the other one still needs some it totally needs renovations, and you can see the listing. I'll have the pictures of, you know, bare floors and some framing that needs to be done, and there's no kitchen or bathroom, you know, things like that. Needs some renovation, and so that's ready for somebody to rent one side or live in one side and work on the other one as they go along. So that one's up and running. Price was $39,000 on that one. And so that was kind of last week. Looking into this week, well, today we had, you know, our big snow everybody's been talking about. So I did work this morning from here, and then spent a good portion of the afternoon out with the kiddos. And we probably had, I took a couple measurements, and it was between 8 inches in one spot and 12 in another, so obviously the average would be 10. And we didn't have much drifting. We're kind of tucked back into a woods, so we don't get a lot of wind. And but I did see some pictures and videos of other people who live out kind of not in a woods or around a bunch of trees, and drifting seemed to be pretty bad. So we were lucky, and also lucky the neighbor stopped by with his plow, and we had started to dig out a little bit around the garages and things like that, but he came in and made short work of all of that, so really appreciate them. So that was today. Looking into next week, I do have a scheduled closing at the end of this week, and that would be on Friday. So that one's a kind of a long overdue closing, and should be wrapped up. And then also on Friday, I have kind of like a mini conference, I guess, in Indy, and I'll do that and then run back to Winchester for that closing. So I am looking forward to that. You know, more business type planning, things like that. So I am pretty excited to go to that. And then looking past kind of the weekend and into early next week, I do have some appointments scheduled for some showings, and I think the weather should be fine, just be cold, but that time of year. So that was about it. I appreciate you tuning in to hear me kind of just ramble along. So thank you, and I will see you guys next time.